In the NBA, you have to pretend that Bronny's an NBA player because otherwise you'll upset the king. And remember, he is a 6'2 guard that's a non-point guard. I've never seen that existing in the current NBA. And go back 20 years. He is 1 for 16 in the NBA from the floor, 0 for 7 on threes. He's not an NBA player. He was not a great high school player. He was a good high school player. He wasn't a good college player. He was a college player. And he's not an NBA player. And he may be a great kid. I'm sure he is. LeBron's a nice guy. I've met him. Can we stop pretending on this?
I just looked it up. G-League, top scorers, points per game. I went through 50, and there's no Bronny James in there. He had 140-point game. The other games were 1. So now you do the math, and it's not going to be in the top 50. I don't even know who is this. Bryce McGowan, Elijah Harkles, Trey Alexander, DJ Davidson. Never heard of these kids. But they're dropping 30 a night in G-League. Why is Bronny sitting on the bench? And this is the thing with Stephen A.
Bronny James, he's 7 for 28 in 4 preseason games from the field. He's 2 for 13, I believe, from three-point range. He's got 8 assists and 8 turnovers. He's moving into year 2. This guy is not an NBA player.
There's this quiet code in the NBA. Every single player knows it. The moment you step into that locker room, you realize roster spots are sacred ground. Only 15 per team, and each one stands for hundreds of hoopers who never got their shot. These are guys who battled through Summer League, survived on shaky two-way deals, took desperate 10-day contracts, or went overseas chasing a dream that most never touch. So when someone lands a roster spot but hasn't truly earned that trust from the coaching staff, the tension doesn't stay hidden. It burns. It spreads through the team, turning whispers into side eyes until it's too obvious to ignore. And that's exactly the storm brewing inside the Los Angeles Lakers right now, all because of Bronny James. Sure, on paper, Bronny's an NBA player. He's got the guaranteed deal, he rocks that purple and gold, and he's right there on the bench every night. But when it really mattered, when the team was shorthanded, when Luka Doncic and Gabe Vincent were out, when Austin Reeves was limited, when the backcourt was paper thin and the game still had real meaning, Bronny didn't get that call. Instead, J.J. Redick made a move that spoke louder than any interview or quote ever could. He started Nick Smith Jr. Let that sink in for a second. Nick Smith Jr., a player Charlotte straight up waived before his rookie contract was even up. A guard with negative career metrics, a guy who's still trying to prove he belongs in the league, known more for streaky scoring than lockdown defense. That decision said everything, and the locker room definitely noticed. The Lakers brought Nick Smith Jr. in on a quiet two-way deal. No hype, no spotlight, nothing. And when it came time to see who they actually trusted in a real NBA moment, they didn't look Bronny's way, they went with Nick. That decision wasn't about Nick Smith Jr. suddenly turning into a breakout star. It was about Bronny James not being trusted by his own team. And that difference means everything. That night, the Lakers didn't just bench Bronny. They made a statement without saying a single word. They showed the whole league exactly where Bronny stands in their pecking order. When the Suns were running the floor and the game was long gone, Bronny finally checked in with just 9 minutes left. Classic garbage time. The outcome was already sealed, and everyone in that arena knew it. It's the same story we've seen again and again this season. If the game's close, Bronny doesn't play. If the game matters, Bronny doesn't play. If there's even the slightest pressure on the line, Bronny still doesn't play. That's not development. That's straight-up damage control. And this isn't about one bad night or one coaching decision. This is a growing pattern that's getting harder and harder to spin or excuse.
Last night came in, 3 turnovers, 0 for 5, looked terrified, nervous, and the Sixers, you can't fool players, went right after him. This continues to be an unserious story.
Bronny hasn't played more than 10 real minutes in a meaningful NBA game since early November, and that's raising serious questions about what the Lakers truly see in him. Even with the Lakers' backcourt falling apart from injuries, even when the team was begging for some spark, a burst of energy, defense, or anything resembling playmaking, J.J. Redick never once looked Bronny's way, not even for a single gamble. And that right there says everything you need to know. In the NBA, coaches will still ride with struggling players if they trust them. They'll let a guy miss shots, turn it over, and learn through the grind. But what they won't do is play someone they think drags down their shot at winning. And right now, the Lakers are basically shouting through their rotations that Bronny James fits that exact label, a player they can't afford to put on the floor when it counts. That leads to the question nobody really wants to say out loud. Is Bronny holding a roster spot that could belong to someone who'd actually make an impact? Because there are hoopers all over this league. Real bench guards, proven role players who would kill for the minutes Bronny's not even getting. Players who bring defensive hustle, who hit open shots, who know how to blend in and make winning plays without needing the ball every possession. These are the kind of reliable pieces championship squads depend on once March and April hit. They don't get grace periods, they don't get endless patience, and they sure don't get guaranteed contracts just because of their last name. The truth is harsh, but it's starting to stare everyone in the face. The Lakers' trust in Bronny just isn't there. In the NBA, everything comes down to what you produce and how you impact the game, nothing else. And Bronny just hasn't hit that level yet, not even close. That's where the tension starts boiling, not just among disappointed fans, but inside locker rooms across the league. Players see it all. They notice when someone gets protected, when chances are gifted instead of earned, and when a guy's role is more about politics than performance. They notice when a coach clearly avoids using a player, even when logic says he should at least get a shot. When the Lakers needed a spark against Phoenix, J.J. Redick tried every possible move except the obvious one at the end of the bench. He threw Nick Smith Jr. into the mix, shuffled lineups that barely made sense, and pushed Austin Reeves to do even more. He tried everything, except calling Bronny's name until the game was completely out of reach and basically meaningless. That's not strategy, that's straight-up avoidance. And the stats don't lie either. Through 15 games, Bronny's averaging less than 2 points a night, barely recording assists, and showing almost no defensive presence. Most of that limited production, it's coming during garbage time against opponents who already mentally checked out. These aren't real minutes under pressure. They're mop-up moments when the outcome's decided and the stars are sitting. Even in those low-stakes situations, Bronny hasn't stood out from the pack. No sparks, no flashes, no hint that he's forcing the coaching staff to rethink his spot. It's a brutal truth, but the numbers and the eye test both scream the same thing. Right now, Bronny's just not making an impact, and everyone inside that locker room can feel it.
That's the truth most fans don't want to face. If Bronny were dominating garbage time, diving for loose balls, locking up on defense, hitting open shots, and bringing chaos on both ends, the story would flip instantly. Coaches in the NBA love effort and reward hustle every single time. Energy gets noticed, impact gets minutes. But instead, Bronny's just fading into the background, giving the Lakers zero reason to expand his role or trust him with real minutes. Now, take a step back and look at the big picture. Bronny James holds a guaranteed spot on a 15-man roster for a team that's fighting to stay in championship contention. The Lakers need depth. They need defensive-minded guards, guys who can handle the playoff grind and thrive when the lights are brightest. Yet one of their most valuable roster spots is being held by someone the coaching staff clearly doesn't trust enough to even touch the court when the game actually matters. That kind of situation just can't last. Teams chasing titles don't have the luxury of emotional decisions or feel-good stories. Front offices run on results and razor-thin margins. Once February hits and the trade deadline creeps closer, every contract gets evaluated. Is it an asset that helps you win or a liability that holds you back? And right now, Bronny James doesn't look like a long-term project or a rising young piece with upside. He looks like a full-on question mark, a guaranteed contract with no clear purpose on a team that simply can't afford dead weight. The clock's ticking, and if nothing changes soon, the Lakers might be forced to face a harsh reality about one of their most talked-about players. The Lakers can't dodge this forever. They're gonna have to face the situation head-on. Is Bronny untouchable? Absolutely not. No matter how powerful the father-son storyline might be, no matter the attention, the headlines, or the marketing buzz, the Lakers' actions already tell the real story. Bronny James is not part of their competitive rotation right now, and that fact keeps getting louder every game he sits. If that's truly the case, keeping him on an active 15-man roster gets harder to justify with every passing week, especially with LeBron's own future in purple and gold hanging in the balance. Sure, LeBron opted in for another season, but that clock is ticking loud enough for everyone in the building to hear. And when that era finally ends, the natural protection Bronny's been shielded by disappears instantly. Once that happens, the Lakers will judge him like they judge every other player, by results, not relationships. And based on what we've seen so far, that evaluation hasn't exactly been flattering. It's been cold and it's been real. Now, that doesn't mean Bronny can't eventually turn into a solid NBA player. Development takes time, especially for young guards who have to adjust to the speed, physicality, and pressure of the league. But here's the catch. Development only works if you're given real opportunities to grow. And those chances only come when the coaching staff actually trusts you. Right now, Bronny has neither. He's stuck in the worst spot possible, technically on the roster, yet completely outside the real game plan. It's like being in the league but not really in it, and that's a dangerous place for any young player to be. That's exactly how promising careers quietly fade before they ever truly begin. The harsh truth that nobody wants to admit is this. There are players right now in the G League, overseas, and even sitting in free agency who could give the Lakers way more immediate value than Bronny does at this moment. There are defensive dogs out there, players who take pride in locking down their matchup every single possession. There are energy guards who can flip the pace of a game the second they check in. There are floor spacers who know exactly what they do best, stay in their lane, and knock down shots when it counts. Those are the kinds of role players that every championship-caliber team leans on when the pressure gets real. But here's the problem. Roster spots in the NBA are precious, and one of those limited spots belongs to Bronny James right now. That reality stings, especially when you consider how many hungry hoopers are fighting for even a sliver of the opportunity he's getting. This isn't hate, it's just the cold, unfiltered truth of the league. The NBA doesn't show mercy, and it's not built on sentiment. It's ruthless by nature, because it has to be. There are too many skilled players chasing too few opportunities, and every single decision from the front office sends a message to everyone watching. And the message the Lakers are sending right now couldn't be clearer. Trust and reputation might buy time, but in this league, production is the only real currency. If Bronny doesn't start proving himself soon, that window could close before his career ever really gets off the ground. That message from the Lakers is echoing louder with every passing game. The whispers around the league are already growing. Front offices, scouts, and even players are all asking the same question. How long can the Lakers keep this going? Every team knows the business side of basketball, but at some point, performance has to outweigh potential.
Inside the locker room, the vibe is shifting too. Teammates might not say it out loud, but they notice when one guy's getting chances that others had to fight tooth and nail for. They see when minutes are handed out because of headlines, not hard work. That's the kind of quiet tension that can fracture chemistry, no matter how strong the brand or the name on the back of the jersey. And make no mistake, the Lakers are under a microscope. Every decision they make gets magnified, every substitution gets dissected, every minute Bronny plays or doesn't play becomes a talking point across social media, talk shows, and locker rooms around the league. It's no longer just about basketball. It's about optics, reputation, and how the franchise handles pressure from every direction. Meanwhile, Bronny's caught in the middle of all of it. He didn't ask for the spotlight to be this intense, but there's no escaping it now. Every dribble, every missed shot, every possession is being analyzed like he's a 10-year veteran. That's a brutal reality for any young player trying to find his rhythm in the league. So the question hanging over the Lakers is simple. How long can they keep walking this tightrope? Eventually, the noise becomes too loud to ignore. Either Bronny takes a massive leap forward and proves he belongs, or the organization will have to make a move that sends shockwaves through the entire NBA. When that moment finally comes, it's going to be explosive. The Lakers can't tiptoe around this situation forever. But the league doesn't wait for anyone. Every team out there is adjusting, upgrading, and cutting loose what doesn't fit. And eventually, Los Angeles will have to do the same. Question is, will they have the guts to pull the trigger when the time comes? Because make no mistake, moving Bronny or even reducing his role further would send shockwaves through the entire sports world. The media storm would be unlike anything we've seen in years. The father-son dynamic, the spotlight, the constant comparisons, it would all explode overnight, and the Lakers front office knows it. That's the kind of move that tests loyalty, business sense, and public perception all at once. But from a pure basketball standpoint, it might be inevitable. The Lakers are trying to compete right now, not 3 years from now. They need players who can contribute today, players who bring defense, spacing, and poise under pressure. Every game counts, and every roster spot has to deliver real value if this team wants to survive in a loaded Western Conference. And if that means having an uncomfortable conversation with LeBron himself, so be it. Even he knows better than anyone that the NBA doesn't hand out lifetime passes, not even to his own family. Legacy can open doors, but it can't keep you on the court when the winds start slipping away. So as the season heads toward the trade deadline, tension in Los Angeles keeps building. Fans, media, and even rival teams are watching closely, waiting for the first domino to fall. Because when it does, one thing's for sure, it won't just change the Lakers' rotation. It'll shake the entire league to its core. And when that first domino falls, the fallout's gonna be wild. Because this isn't just about one player anymore. It's about what Bronny James represents. The expectations, the legacy, the pressure. It's all intertwined with one of the biggest names the game has ever seen. The second the Lakers make a move, it'll spark debate from every corner of the sports world. From locker rooms to podcasts to primetime talk shows, everyone will have something to say, and not a single opinion will be quiet. But deep down, behind all the noise, this is still about basketball, about production, trust, and fit. The Lakers can't afford distractions when they're hanging by a thread in the playoff race. They need every roster spot, every rotation choice, every possession to mean something. And right now, Bronny's spot feels more symbolic than strategic, and that's a problem a championship-minded team just can't ignore. What happens next could define more than just the Lakers season. It could define Bronny's entire career. If he's moved, he'll have to prove himself from scratch, showing that he can hang in the league without the protection of his last name. But if he stays, the pressure only gets heavier, because every DNP and every garbage time minute will keep feeding the fire. And for LeBron, it's another crossroads moment, a brutal reminder that even legends can't control the business side of the game forever. He's fought for family, legacy, and success his entire career, but this test might be his toughest yet. The league is watching, the fans are waiting, and the Lakers are running out of time. Whatever decision comes next won't just impact the roster, it'll send a message to the entire NBA that no storyline, no legacy, and no name is bigger than the game itself. The truth couldn't be clearer. The Lakers just don't trust Bronny James to help them win right now. And until that changes, questions will keep piling up. People will keep asking about nepotism, about fairness, about whether that precious roster spot is being wasted on a storyline instead of a true difference maker. Every missed opportunity, every quiet night on the bench only adds fuel to the growing doubt. Because in the NBA, there's no sympathy for famous last names or feel-good stories. The league doesn't slow down for anyone, not for bloodlines, not for hype, and definitely not for headlines. When the lights come on and the game starts, it only asks one question: who helps you win basketball games? And right now, Bronny James is learning that lesson in the harshest way possible, sitting on the sideline, watching others seize the moments he thought would be his. That's the unforgiving side of the league. Talent means nothing without trust, and opportunity doesn't wait forever. Every game he sits, the pressure grows heavier and the whispers get louder. Can Bronny flip the narrative? Can he prove that he deserves that spot, not because of who he is, but because of what he can do on the court? Only time and his grind will answer that. The story's far from over, and the next chapter could change everything.
Will Bronny rise up and silence the critics, or will the Lakers finally make the move everyone's been waiting for? Tension's real, the clock's ticking, and the whole league is watching. If you've been following this saga, make sure you subscribe, like, share, and drop a comment with your thoughts on what's next for Bronny James and the Lakers. Don't miss the next video. This story's just heating up. You'll want to see where it goes next. See you in the next one.